Hello, amazing, beautiful army of light. Boots on the ground at Shauna L. Francis, and today is December 6th, 2022. Thank you so much for joining me for today's Ascension Daily Update. Took yesterday off, a little tickle in my throat, sinus issues, and just feeling kind of drained. Today, about the same, maybe slightly better, still a little bit of a tickle in my throat. Knock on wood, hopefully this will just be the end of this and I can move on and get back to doing what I was doing. So yeah, I missed yesterday. I have this is a big video today. It's our second kind of reptilian disclosure. And we're going to be talking about the Holocaust. And it's quite emotional for me, actually. It's feeling more real, and it's this hard stuff, and I just apologize in advance if anybody, is offended. I hope not. This is a big part of my mission, is to bring through this information. As crazy as it sounds, as awful as it sounds, this is the truth in terms of what I understand the truth to be. At least I'm getting there. And it's important. And, instead of it being something that's going to cause us a bunch of fear, the way I see this is that it's causing us a bunch of empowerment, finally empowerment and liberation. This stuff has to come to the surface so it can be reconciled, it can be dealt with. We cannot deal with an enemy or an issue that is hidden below the surface, in the shadows. This is where these guys have been playing all along. And, there are lots and lots of people talking about reptilians right now, not just me. There's, this narrative is out there. It's time. The time is right. The energy is right. We're to a place in our consciousness where this is the right timing for us to hear it. So yesterday, I meditated for over 4 hours straight, working with Melchizedek, trying to access this information on my own. So 2 days ago, I was able to access information about misogyny, about the Great Depression, about Jesus and the black mold. That all flowed pretty easily for me, and it was kind of like like on speed dial. It was kind of a quick jump here to there to there. So yesterday, as I sat down to meditate, Melchizedek said, "Shauna, you're going to need to find this information for yourself. This is within you. You need to find it." And they said, pretend like you've got blinders on and you're trying to find it. So, I have to make these energetic connections to this information myself. And they reiterated this again today. So yesterday, I was not successful. I could not get to the information. I was like a small child. I was upset, and I was I cried a little bit. I was asking my other guides for help. I was praying to God. Thank God these guys love us, unconditionally, because I was really acting like a small child yesterday. My fear of failure coming up, I was just feeling like I wasn't going to ever get there. And I really gave it a good effort, over 4 hours, trying to get to this information. Then I got done and I was just feeling, this tickle in my throat, my sinus is filling up. And I thought, oh, there's no way I'm making a video. I was just not feeling it. So went to bed, got up today, did more running around, sat down at about 4 o'clock to meditate, which is later than I wanted, but my day got busy. And after about 45 minutes, Melchizedek said, "Shauna, are you ready to try this again? Pretend like you can't see well, you need your glasses, so you're looking around for your glasses so you can see clearly." So I gave it such a good effort. I tried everything that I could think about to get this information, to connect. Affirmations, visualizations, again, asking for help, trying to connect with my different chakras, trying to visualize things, finally, after, I'm going to say about 3 hours at this today, 2 hours, 45 minutes, finally I made a connection. And what happened here is I counted down from 10 to 1, and I imagined myself going down in an elevator, each floor deeper and deeper and deeper down into this big basement. And the doors slid open. I stepped into this really dark room that ended up being as big as a huge warehouse. I flipped the lights on in this room, and it was full of humanoid reptilians, all kind of meandering around. And what I did next was I pulled up a chair at a desk, and I had a chair sitting next to the desk, and I said, "Hello, would anybody like to talk to me?" And the first reptilian came and sat down, very nice. And we started a dialogue. And I've got a Q&A here about the Holocaust with this first reptilian. I don't know if this is just me, and this is how I'm accessing the information within me and through this, that illusion, or if I'm literally talking to a reptilian outside of my consciousness. I really am not sure yet. So I'm going to, obviously, I think we're going to be doing a lot of this. So I started this dialogue with this reptilian kind of sitting at my desk as though I was doing like an interrogation. All right. So I literally, this being had a seat. I said, "Hello, is there something you'd like to divulge today?" And it was like I got a yes, and I'm like, "Okay, who are you?" The name Lester came to mind. I didn't question it. I just, "Okay, Lester," the reptilian here. "Okay, Lester." He sat down at my desk and he said he wanted to talk about the Holocaust. And I want to note here, like, the information didn't flow as easily as it did 2 days ago. What my understanding is that Melchizedek actually did assist me in accessing that information yesterday, but they didn't this time. All right. I said, "Okay, Lester, tell me what happened here." And he says, "They, the reptilians, worked with the German government to inflict mass pain and suffering in order to increase the amount of luge, or fear energy." Luge comes from, I've heard that word through, Corey Good. So I'd heard that word before, and this is the word that came through. And I don't know that I've ever actually said that word out loud myself, but I have heard him use it in the exact same context. Fear energy that they feed on. Amount of luge or fear energy that was being created. And this was in exchange for technology secrets. Germany and the reptilians go way back, and this was a big plot to help Hitler. Well, Hitler wanted to ascend. He was promised a lot for this. Okay, so Germany, the reptilians, this has all been out in the public domain for a while. This is not new stuff here. Again, Corey Good comes to mind. I've seen this a lot. Hitler was also under the influence of the reptilians, Lester continued, as were his military who enforced the Holocaust. Part of their brain was unhinged. They did not feel empathy. They became more like animatronic or puppets carrying out a mission or a duty. And then there was a pause. I said, "Thanks, Lester. What happened to all the technology that would have been traded?" And he said here, "Secret space programs. Even the current leadership does not know about this. This died when Hitler died. Others took over this information and it became part of the secret space program. This is no longer being used for earthly gain. This is now playing out on more of a cosmic stage. There are bigger prizes out there than what the earth can provide." Again, secret space program, all of this stuff happening off Earth, off planet, there's supposedly hundreds of thousands, if not millions of humans from Earth out there working secret space programs. don't quote me on this amount of people, but I guess it's a lot. I haven't channeled that directly. That's just what I've read. Again, Corey Good, David Wilcock, kind of that secret space program stuff. I'm not anywhere near an expert in it. I just pick up pieces here and there. And then I said, Lester, can you give me more information about what happened to Hitler with all of this? What were his rewards? And Lester says here, Hitler was promised a lot, like immortality, complete enlightenment. Once he got everything in order and started carrying out these plans, things started to shift for Hitler, and he lost control of himself. The reptilians completely took over his body and his mind, and he lost his essence. His personality was no longer able to be present. So you really give up a lot for this. I mean, wow. Lester continues here. Eventually his body died, no longer being needed for the agreement. It is said that Hitler's soul is kept by the reptilians and he is forever trapped there. They are afraid to release him for fear of retaliation. Plus, the reptilians just enjoy this, especially with people who they feel are really powerful with really big egos. It's showing them we are way more superior than you are as a lesson and also just for fun. This kind of stuff, like the trapping of souls, I've heard a little bit about this kind of thing. Man, that is so hard for me. I really don't want to believe it. I really hope that, I just hope it's not true. So even as I'm saying these things and these things are coming through, I'm like, oh my gosh, do they really have the technology to trap our souls? Is it just like our essence from our human incarnation? Or are we talking about like at the soul level? So I'm sure I'll be learning more about this. I said, thank you, Lester. Lester, what did the reptilians do? How did they harness the fear energy? And he said, this isn't hard for them. They are masters at energy manipulation. This big geographical area putting off so much fear and despair, so the Holocaust in that area, they were able to collect it just by willpower. It really satiates them, almost like breathing in pure oxygen. I said, thank you for all of this. So at the time of the Holocaust, I asked, were there actual reptilians on the planet or under the surface, or more like maybe, are they in a ship? I mean, do you know if they were here etherically or were they in embodiment? And he said here, the reptilians at that time were in embodiment as reptilians, out of view of humans. And then I'm seeing lots of ice and snow, very cold. And I was getting the word Atlantic, but then it was Antarctica was the word. Antarctica came through. This is where they were at. Again, I don't think that's new information. I think that there's been all kinds of theories about ships and underground facilities, military bases, secret space program stuff happening at the poles. All right. It's interesting too, because I had a psychic reading early on in my awakening, maybe 4 years ago, from somebody who's really, really good. I actually met him in Mexico. He and his wife came and stayed at the yurts when I was there before I owned them. And he said he saw me going someplace extremely cold, like as an older woman, like maybe in my 70s, like freezing cold. So I thought about this when Antarctica came up. I thought, wow, I wonder if I'll be there someday as part of this. I said to Lester here, is there anything else you can tell me about the Holocaust or Hitler that's important for people to know? And here's what he said. Reptilians were hoping for more. This all came to an end with the war. Reptilians decided to leave that one alone and move on. They were hoping for a lot more casualties, a lot more suffering, even beyond the Jewish people. The program was in place. The people, the workers, and the military, the enforcement. They wanted to bring more and more people to these camps, including non-Jews. they abandoned that idea with the war. So World War II started, and Hitler was doing the Holocaust stuff during the war. So they invaded Poland, and I've just done a little tiny bit of research. I'm not real good with my history, even though I was a straight A student. I've not retained this stuff. So for those 4 years of the war, Hitler was full steam ahead with the Holocaust during the war. So with the war, they decided to abandon this. I said, "Thank you, Lester. Is there anything else?" And he said to me, which is surprising, "I'm glad you're doing what you're doing, Shauna. It's time." So it makes me think, is Lester a good, a positive polarity reptilian out there? There's lots of them, all across the spectrum, who is helping me, and I'm channeling this person. I really don't know. I'm going to find out, I'm sure. And I said, "Thank you. I'm so happy for your help, and I may call upon you again if I get ready to, as I get ready to write a book," which I assume I'm going to do. And then I was just kind of sitting here, and I reached out to Melchizedek. I'm like, wow, that is really, really disturbing. It's quite a bombshell. Melchizedek, can you please tell me, did I get this all correct? Did I do this right? And they said, "Yes, dear one, you did beautifully. They said, you do have to figure out about this information through your own field. It's not something we can easily pinpoint for you, though we have the ability to escalate that information, elevate it to a place where you can access it." Excuse me. And this here too. "Ideally, it's you who has complete and total access to the information and are able to bring it forward. You should be the one to bring the information forward, Shauna. Can you understand this from a karmic standpoint?" So more about my karma. This is me paying off my karma for the wrongs I did as a reptilian over many, many lifetimes. But from a karmic perspective, I have to be the one to bring this forward. So it's not going to be Melchizedek telling me, and I'm not channeling them. I am bringing this information forward myself. Anyway, obviously, if Lester is a separate being, sentient being outside of myself, then I'm getting help that way, but it's not going to be spoon-fed to me by somebody like Melchizedek. So I've got to bring this information forward myself. And then they asked me how I was doing. And at the time, it just seems to resonate, I guess. It seems to make sense to me. And it's awful. It's really awful. So I'm still just processing. This is just, this information's pretty fresh for me. It's obviously fresh for you guys. It's just what a horrible time in our planet's history to have this happen. And here the reptilians, according to my source here, responsible for it. Okay, and then I just asked again, can you please tell me if it's 100% accurate and if there's anything that needs to be corrected? And they said, you got everything accurate. And they said the information will continue to get more and more detailed as I acclimate to the information and are able to energetically carry the weight of the information. So I think that makes sense as well. Okay, team. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm really, you're along this ride with me. We're doing this in real time together. I'm discovering these things, and then shortly thereafter, you get to discover them as well. We are united in solidarity with our hearts here, working on behalf of the collective field for the betterment of humankind and our ascension that is well underway. This is all positive stuff that this is able to come to the surface. This is good, you guys. And we're going to be seeing a lot of this play out on the public stage here. You've got the reptilians who are going to be working overtime to instill more fear and to cause big calamities on the planet, to create more suffering and despair, just like at the Holocaust. But us light workers, we're ready. We're ready, and we'll take this on, you know, with love, knowing that these are natural polarities here, negative over to positive. There's a whole spectrum in between. We're always going to be working on behalf of love and non-judgment, even for the reptilians who have undertaken such, you know, atrocities here, you know, because they believe they're doing the right thing too on behalf of their people and themselves. But we've got a big imbalance here. That's why people like the Galactic Federation of Light are here. Melchizedek has been here since the beginning. This planet is wildly out of balance toward the negative, and we've got to create a better equilibrium. The Ascension is going to really take care of this and solidify that. Okay, guys, I'm behind on my emails and behind on checking in with all your comments, but I do check them as I can here and there, and I so appreciate everything that you're saying, all your love and support, even those of you who are concerned for me. Thank you. And I'm just very thankful for you guys. Okay, team, I'm going to let you go for the night. I assume I'll see you tomorrow. Mwah.